Hello, good evening. Live from our studios here in Kokomlemle, Accra, this is Joe News Prime. Now, we're live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 125, and around the world on myjoyonline.com.
Well, tonight, details are emerging about allegations of misconduct and competence, as well as incompetence, at the heart of the petition to remove the Chief Justice, Gertrude Torkornoo, from office. We'll tell you what the Chief Justice has been saying in her defense.
Opposition MPP is threatening nationwide protest as it calls out President Mahama's controversial suspension of the Chief Justice as a threat to Ghana's democracy.
Expect massive protest from us. We will agitate. This is unconstitutional.
Also tonight, the operations of Akonta Mining Limited under scrutiny as the Minerals Commission says the company has no ratified mining lease, environmental or operating permit required to legally conduct mining activities, whether inside or near the Tanonimri Forest Reserve.
Now, also Health Minister Minta Kando suffers more backlash over sacking of CEO of Tamale Teaching Hospital as the Ghana Medical Association condemns what they describe as an abuse of power, demanding apology from the minister.
He's being threatened. He's the MP. He's there to protect the doctor. Social media has been sent messages saying that he's killed the patient. People are on his page cyberbullying him. People are sending messages to the wife and his family.
Well, details are beginning to emerge tonight about the allegations of misconduct and incompetence at the heart of three petitions to remove the Chief Justice. Gertrude Torkornoo was yesterday suspended by the president after a prima facie case was made against her. We are now learning about the specifics of the allegations that convinced the president and the Council of State to suspend her. Now, Deputy Attorney General Justice Remsai confirms to Joy News that it was the Council of State that recommended the Chief Justice's suspension.
He did not act in accordance with advice. I'm sure the statement would have made it clear that the president made a decision, you know. So I think that, not that I think, I am aware that that is what happened. And that is what the communication, you know, from the presidency also published.
Well, was this a unanimous recommendation?
Well, I don't think that will be made known because the council, if you, and I'm happy that my very learned, you know, senior, who was a member of the Council of State, would inform the public that the Council of State mostly work with consensus. They hardly go with votes and counting and all that. So, and I believe that this decision, this advice also was made in the consensus. I mean, by way of consensus rather than by casting votes and counting votes.
Let's bring you details of the petitions as we've received, and my colleague Latif Idrisu joins me in studio with those details of the petitions that we've seen. Now, Latif, we know that there are a lot of petitions, you know, but let's start with what Daniel Ofori has been stating in his petition.
Yeah, so first of all, we have three petitioners. The first on the list is Daniel Ofori. Now, he makes 21 specific allegations of misbehavior of the Honorable Chief Justice and 4 allegations of incompetence. Then we have Ayamga Yakubu Akogo. He's a senior police officer in the Ghana Police Service on the rank of Assistant Commissioner of Police, stationed at the National Police Headquarters here in Accra. He documented what he calls count 16. 16 of them all accusing the Chief Justice of making discourteous and disrespectful comments and mocking him. He also alleges that the CJ caused his unlawful arrest. Then 3, we have Kingsley Ajay. He's the chairman and convener with the Shining Stars of Ghana. He makes 2 main allegations bordering on the Chief Justice's recommendation to Akufo-Addo to appoint some 5 judges, allegations that the CJ misconducted herself in the handling of the Afenyo and Speaker of Parliament and Attorney General case, and finally that yeah, Kojo, so we can go on. There are a lot of them, but these are the specifics that we can.
Now, we also know that there are so many of them, as I stated earlier. But if you look at the Daniel Ofori one, let's focus on the instances of misappropriation of public funds.
Yeah, so he talks about And that is the response of the Chief Justice you're talking about.
Exactly, the response that the Chief Justice gave to those allegations.
Yeah, so in her response, she said in 2023, the Honorable Chief Justice misappropriated the sum of 261,890 Ghana cedis of public funds for the benefit of Chief Justice for her private foreign travel with her husband, Mr. Francis Kofi Tokonu, and her daughter, Ms. Edem S.A. Tokonu, and then $30,000 per diem allowance when, to her knowledge, neither the husband of the Chief Justice nor the Chief Justice's daughter were entitled to have their travel or any travel allowances paid for out of the funds of the Judicial Service. It goes on, in 2023, the Honorable Chief Justice misappropriated the sum of 75,580 Ghana cedis out of public funds for Ethiopian airline tickets for the Honorable Chief Justice and her husband during the vacation of her ladyship to Arusha in Tanzania. In the same 2023, her ladyship, the Honorable Chief Justice, obtained from the Judicial Service an accountable interest in the sum of 14,000 United States dollars to the Honorable Chief Justice to travel with her husband to Arusha in Tanzania, which he failed to retire.
So these are allegations contained in Daniel Ofori's petition to the president.
Yes.
But we also do know that when the petitions were made available to the Chief Justice, she provided her responses, which then, together with the petitions, were forwarded to the Council of State. What was her response?
So to Ofori, she said, quote, "I respectfully present herewith my appointment letter, which should have been added to the original bundle as Exhibit D01. It will show that the terms of the Chief Justice's appointment include 2 round trips for her official vacation for a maximum of 14 days on each journey. The Chief Justice is never, by written policy, which is said Exhibit D02, allowed to travel alone. The Chief Justice is allowed to travel on unlimited occasions on official travel with her spouse. These 3 strands of privilege and obligation support the Chief Justice traveling with her spouse or daughter on the official vacations given her by the terms of appointment. Can it be suggested by any stretch of imagination, much less the making of a prima facie determination of wrongdoing, that when the Chief Justice travels on her official vacation with a designated person, it constitutes misconduct, warranting removal from office for her travel with her spouse? Would any Ghanaian urge that the President or Speaker of Parliament, as the other 2 heads of government, with the Chief Justice under Article 52, Clause 2 of the 1992 Constitution, would have misappropriated state funds if they traveled with their spouse or son or daughter on an official vacation given to them by the state in their letter of investiture as their designated partner? Would this not be a mockery of our democracy? Can it be suggested by any stretch of imagination that when implementers of the policies of the Judicial Service purchase tickets for the official vacation of the Chief Justice and her designated companion, it is the Chief Justice who has personally misappropriated state funds? Would this not be a mockery of the principles underlining what misappropriation means? Then it goes on with the Ethiopian airline accusation. She says, in September 2023, I fell ill from exhaustion when I arrived in Arusha and had to return to Ghana a day early in order to ensure that I was able to have 1 full day to journey to Cape Coast for the annual conference of the Ghana Bar Association. This led to a change and rerouting of my return journey to Ghana through Ethiopian Airline, which she said is at page 4 of the exhibit that she attached to her response. Information on this: it is therefore unfortunate that the petitioner, an outsider to the record of Judicial Service, should create the wrong presentation of this expenditure used for the purchase of tickets for the Chief Justice. On imprest, which has to do with some 14,000 United dollars, she says, on the untruthful allegation of my failure to retire imprest, I have attached evidence signed by me and corroborated by the Judicial Secretary that I spent 4,411 out of the imprest of 14,000 United States dollars and retired all of the rest, and these are in caps, of the rest 2 days after. It is my firm belief that the nation would undoubtedly find such proposition that the act described above constitutes wrongdoing unthinkable. and it ought not be entertained by the august body of His Excellency, the President and eminence of the Council of States.
Quite interesting and quite elaborative responses that the Chief Justice has provided there. But this will be part now that a committee has been formed. She will go there in person with her lawyer and then expatiate on her responses. But quite interesting details that are emerging from these petitions and the responses provided by the Chief Justice herself. But on this same development, the New Patriotic Party has announced plans for a series of mass protests across the country following President John Mahama's decision to suspend the Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo, a move the opposition party has condemned as an unprecedented attack on judicial independence and a blatant violation of Ghana's constitution. MPP National Organizer Henry Nanabuache says the party would not allow what it perceives as an erosion of democratic norms go unchallenged. He was speaking at the party's Thank You Tour launch here in Accra. Kenneth Jesse has more in this report.
Well, the New Patriotic Party says it is set to embark on a thank you tour across the length and breadth of the country. They will be touring the entire 16 regions of the country to thank the electorates and reassure their base that they are still a party to be reckoned with. The party's 2024 flag bearer, Mamudu Bawumia, well, he said that he was also happy with the Mike Oquaye report, saying that it has put to bed a lot of propaganda.
I am very, very happy that Professor Mike Oquaye and his Elections Review Committee have submitted their report. We've waited for this report for a long time, and they delivered the report on time. And I must say that I am very happy with the Oquaye report. It has put to bed a lot of the propaganda that was going around about exactly why we lost the election. And I'm very happy about that. And when you look at the data is very clear. In many constituencies across the country, the MPP presidential candidate performed better than the Christian parliamentary candidate in many constituencies across. So it couldn't be, if they were voting because of religion, I shouldn't be performing better than the Christian parliamentary candidates. Even my good friend, Intim Fodio, who is giving a lot of heat to the government at the moment in Parliament. Intim Fodio is a reverend father in Intim Fodio, as in South. But I did better than him in his constituency. So he did so well. I mean, he did and mobilized the votes for me, and I thank him very much. But if you look at all across the country, the fact is that there was no religious factor in the voting.
The party's national organizer, Henry Nanabuache, said the MPP is unhappy with the way President John Mahama is handling the Chief Justice matter by suspending the Chief Justice, Gertrude Torkornoo. He has vowed that the party will embark on a series of protests to express their dissatisfaction.
Democracy is under attack. Our judiciary is under attack. Do not think that this attack is on the person of Chief Justice Torkornoo. No, it is the entire judiciary. Expect massive protest from us. We will agitate. We will not sit down quietly. We will agitate. This is unconstitutional.
From the MPP's national headquarters in Accra, my name is Kenneth Jesse for Joy News.
Away from the Chief Justice, the Minerals Commission says Akonta Mining Limited has no ratified mining lease, environmental or operating permit required to legally conduct mining activities, whether inside or outside the Tano Nimri Forest Reserve. Now, according to a statement issued on April 22, 2025, the Commission clarified that while Akonta secured 3 separate mining leases in 2021 for areas outside the forest reserve. None of these leases have been ratified by Parliament as required under the Minerals and Mining Act 2006. Now, as such, the leases are not legally binding. It comes as Akonta Mining heads to court to challenge the revocation of its mining lease following allegations of illegal mining. On your screens now is that statement from the Minerals Commission, just tabling some of the key findings they have, and it's coming up on your screens. Now, it says the Minerals Commission has clarified that Akonta Mining Limited has no legal right to undertake mining in the Tano Nimri Forest Reserve or any area associated with their current lease applications. And they give a breakdown of the key points. Point 1, when it comes to the past licenses outside the forest reserve, they state that Akonta received a recognizance license on the 15th of June 2011, which expired in 2012. They go on to state that a prospecting license followed, and that is valid from the 31st of December 2012 to 30th of December 2014, both outside the Tano Nimri Forest Reserve. Now, when it comes to the 3 mining leases outside the forest reserve, they go on to state the facts. They say Akonta applied for 3 mining leases, and they say that that was granted on the 23rd of July 2021 for 10 years. However, they go on to state that these leases are outside the forest reserve but are not yet ratified and lack environmental and operating permits. Thus, no lawful mining can occur even outside the forest. When it comes to the third point, when it comes to the rights that Akonta has to mine in forest reserve, they go on to say Akonta applied for a prospecting license within the forest, then withdrew it, referring to Tano. And they go on to state later it applied for a mining lease within the forest on the 25th of August 2022, but it was never signed by the minister. They state categorically no forest entry permit or mining lease has been granted for operations in the Tano Nimri Forest Reserve. On the fourth point, when it comes to the allegations of the illegal operations found when it comes to Akonta Mining, they state that security teams found Akonta agents operating illegally within the forest based on coordinate evidence. Now, these operations violate the law as Akonta lacks a ratified mining lease, environmental permit, operating permit, and forest entry permit. They concluded that statement by saying any mining activities by Akonta, whether inside or outside the forest, are illegal. And this confirms the Ministries of Land and Natural Resources' earlier statement, which was issued on the 30th of September 2022, that Akonta Mining has no mineral rights in the Tano Nimri Forest Reserve. While the Media Coalition Against Illegal Mining, they are calling on the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources to broaden its crackdown on illegal mining activities, urging authorities not to focus solely on Akonta Mining Limited, but to pursue all companies and individuals engaged in the destructive practice. Convener Engineer Kenneth Ashibe tells Joy News that the minister must go after all companies identified to be destroying the environment.
To the issues of heritage, Imperial as well, who were giving exploratory licenses that were alleged to have gotten themselves involved in mining itself. They were in court, and in their court documents, they talked, when they sued the Rastas, they talked about their mining operations. We also should be looking at the NDC MP for our win. The NDC MP for our win has been accused by his traditional authority of being involved in Galamsey. He says it's not true, and he is accusing his colleagues, his chiefs. That should be investigated. The NDC constituency chairperson for Axim has been accused by the Adamus Resources, a large-scale mining firm, of being involved in Galamsey. That should be investigated.
Let me bring in now Andy Apiakubi. He's member of the legal team for Akonta Mining. We appreciate your time here on Joy News Prime. Let me start with a reaction to this mining allegations by the Minerals Commission. Can you confirm whether these 3 mining leases Akonta obtained in 2021 have been ratified by Parliament after engaging your client?
Well, first and foremost, let me say evening to your listeners. Going to the question, we have never stated anywhere that we have a mining lease in any of the forest areas. We don't. Indeed, as I spoke to you yesterday, I indicated that there was a time in 2020 when Akonta Mining applied for access and indeed a license to operate in the forest area, but that was declined. And we have also been put on record that Akonta Mining has 3 concessions outside the forest area. And therefore, Akonta Mining is not and has never operated within any of the mining, any of the forest areas in Ghana. So we are on record as that. So if there is anybody operating within any forest area, such persons cannot be agents or officials of Akonta Mining company.
But the Minerals Commission, in their statement, they're clear really that when it even comes to the leases you claim to have outside the Tunnel Nimri Forest, they say that the license you have hasn't been ratified by Parliament. They say you do not have environmental operation permit as well. What is the legal basis then for you operating in those areas?
You see, most of these contracts, indeed, you are challenging almost every natural resource contract in Ghana because most of these contracts have not been a subject of ratification in Parliament per se. But under the law, certain institutions can be mandated by Parliament to exercise those functions and deemed to have been rectified by Parliament. And most of the mining companies have that status. So again, an applicant for mining license is not the one to prosecute the ratification. It is the institution that is granting the license that continues through the ratification for anything. When we have submitted our application and we have complied with all the regulatory requirements for the issue of the license,
okay,
we would have done our part.
So I want you to clarify. You are confirming that indeed Akonta Mining do not have the operational permit, neither environmental permit.
I am not confirming that. No.
Okay.
I am saying that Akonta Mining has the operational license, and I'm further going to indicate that negligence on the part of a contracting party does not necessarily put me into a position of jeopardy, because
when negligence here means what exactly?
Again?
When negligence means what exactly?
When an applicant will have performed the statutory requirement, and it is the receiver of the application that is to process and conclude and discharge. Once you are permitted, given the permission to process and continue to go into operation, it is the responsibility, and indeed, the ratification is not the contracting. When you have contracted with the agent, the issues of ratification rest with the agent. It doesn't rest me. I'm not confirming that it is done or it is not done. What I'm saying is that the applicant's responsibility has been exhausted. If at all, there has not been any ratification, I'm saying that it is the responsibility of the receiving agent, not the applicant. So we will not accept that.
But lawyer, and you've been a member of Parliament before, so you can help us appreciate this.
And I'm telling you
hold on for my question. I am asking that at what point can one go to mine? Is it when you've gotten the ratification or before you get the ratification?
Most of these contracts are deemed ratified because of the transfer of the obligation to the agents. Most of them, if you like, go call all of them and say how many of them came to Parliament. I was in Parliament for 8 years. How many of those applications came to Parliament? But by the law, Parliament could.
So it brings me to the point. It brings me to the point, really, that it is clear by the Minerals Commission statement that Akonta Mining doesn't even have a ratified mining lease from Parliament to operate outside tunnel. Can you confirm that for me? Based on what you're saying, you applied.
I cannot confirm that for you because my instructions are that Akonta Mining has a license to operate. That is the instructions that I'm taking.
Yeah, you can have a license to operate, but before you go and operate a large-scale mining, as Akonta Mining has made us to understand, your operational side and the license you have needs to be ratified by Parliament, else you cannot embark on it. Not so.
No, look, by who?
By Parliament. That's what the law says.
Who will do the ratification?
Parliament will do the ratification.
Who will do? No. Who will submit any such agreement for ratification?
The Minerals Commission will. I mean, when the minister signs it, the Minerals Commission will send it to Parliament.
Right. So who would you ask whether or not they have discharged that responsibility?
But if you have not gotten your driver's...
No,
hold on. But hold on to... If you also have not gotten your driver's license... But if you have not gotten your driver's license, can you drive in Ghana?
Listen, when you are already in contract with a government agency, and that government agency ought to go forward to do something, and that government agency, assuming negligently, does not discharge that responsibility, how does that translate into a responsibility to an applicant?
Now, I just want us to finalize on this because the Minerals Commission statement also clarifies that EPA... Mr. Kubi, if you allow me to come in at this point, please just allow me to come in at this point. I just wanted clarity. The Minerals Commission statement clarified that Akonta Mining doesn't even have environmental permit to operate. You agree that you do not have environmental permit, yet you're operating. That's an illegality.
No. Who said that? I have not told you that we don't have...
you have environmental permit?
Environmental certificate. We do. So when we are at the forum, then we will all provide the evidence of our qualification.
Okay.
Thank you.
Quite interesting. Okay, we'll see how this matter travels in court. We're grateful to you.
Now, the earlier complaint was that our agents are mining in the forest area. We have categorically put it in public that we are not.
You've made that point clear that your agents are not mining in the forest, but we'll see. We're grateful to you, sir, for joining us here. We'll see how this particular matter travels, But moving away from that particular story, Health Minister Kwabena Mintah-Kandor is receiving more backlash of the sacking of Chief Executive Officer of the Tamale Teaching Hospital. The Health Minister announced that the sacking of Dr. Adam Nateku last night on the back of poor handling of critical equipment at the hospital and unexplained circumstances leading to the death of a patient. The action of the minister has sparked huge controversy and criticism over the manner he carried out the dismissal. We'll hear from the Ghana Medical Association shortly, but the minority and others who are condemning the minister's actions would also hear from them. But listen to Kwabena Mintah-Kandor himself confirming the sacking of Dr. Adam Atiku on Newsnight last night.
We have thanked him for his services he has delivered at the Tamale Teaching Hospital, and we think that somebody else must come and continue as the CEO of the facility.
So he has been sacked?
Exactly.
With immediate effect?
With immediate effect.
He accepted this, or he's going to fight this?
Well, I don't know yet.
This was formally communicated to him in a letter or verbally?
In a letter.
But did you meet him today?
Yes, I did.
And because I heard you say that you're also going to set up a committee to look into the circumstances surrounding the death, the recent death. That hasn't happened yet, so I'm curious why the swift move to sack him.
We have set up the committee.
But they haven't
The
worked.
committee has been set up.
They haven't worked to give you a report yet.
No, not at all.
So isn't
it
this
is not?
premature?
So get it right. Get it right. Probably relieving him of his position is not only because of the incident that happened on Sunday. And mind you, the appointing authority owes nobody any explanation for hiring or firing an employee.
Is he a staff of the Ghana Health Service? And so if you sacked him there, he returns to the service, or he's completely out of the service?
If he is a staff of the Ghana Health Service, once he's relieved of his position as a CEO, he can be seconded to any of the agencies under the ministry.
The minority on the Health Committee of Parliament has weighed in on this development, demanding immediate reinstatement of Dr. Adam Atiku, insisting that the Health Minister, Kwabena Minta Kando, acted unlawfully. Dr. Kingsley Agyemang is MP and also is MP for Ebuaka South and member of the Health Committee.
It is administratively not consistent with the provisions of the very act that established the teaching hospitals. So it's out of order. And again, in all humility, I mean, rules of natural justice stipulate that people should be given fair hearing. I don't think the CEO was heard in this matter. The whole decision was rash. And we believe that if you want to do public service, it calls for high level of sobriety. I mean, we can't run things out of emotions. The decision was very rash. And it's a very, very inimical tool to the work of the health profession. Let's be very honest. Health professionals go through a lot in the delivery of their service. We are of the opinion that due procedure was not followed, the president was not consulted, or if the president had consulted the Council of State, the doctor in person of the CEO, this went would have been fought.
Well, the Ghana Medical Association has issued a strong worded statement on the matter, demanding an apology from the minister, and that's coming up on your screens right now. It reads that the Ghana Medical Association has taken notice of the very disturbing developments at the Tamale Teaching Hospital. The GMA strongly condemns the unfortunate treatment of the doctors at the emergency unit of the hospital during the visit of the Minister of Health and the Member of Parliament for Tamale North and subsequent dismissal of the CEO of the hospital. They go on to state that the manner in which the dismissal was carried out is an affront to due process and abuse of power by the Minister of Health. The GMA stands in solidarity with our colleagues in the wake of these injustices being perpetuated. The ill-informed media audit of the death of the patient raises serious issues of breach of patient confidentiality, exposes the facility to medical legal risk and prejudices the issues even before the matter is duly investigated. Now, they go on to state that indeed the doctors have already been tried in the court of public opinion. The head of the emergency unit has already received threats and cyberbullying, putting him and other staff at risk of public physical harm and psychological trauma. These acts, if continued, have the tendency to demoralize committed workers and reduce public confidence in the health system. Now, while the association recognizes concerns raised by relatives of the patients and the minister and MP, there exist clearly laid down processes and procedures to resolve concerns or grievances rather than these circuses of public engagement, which often only whips up public sentiments without addressing the underlying issues or providing any lasting solutions. The Ghana Medical Association therefore demands an unqualified apology from the Minister of Health and the Member of Parliament for Tamale North for the unwarranted attack on the staff involved. The GMA calls on the hospital to ensure due process is followed to ascertain the true facts about the grievances of the affected family and find lasting solution to the issues. We also call on the management of the facility to ensure the safety of the staff involved and provide the necessary psychological support to them. So that's a statement from the Ghana Medical Association. Now, they're also revealing that Dr. Atiku is now receiving threats over allegations of negligence leading to the death of a patient at the hospital days ago. Let's listen to the Secretary for GMA, Dr. Richard Salome. He spoke to my colleague Elton Robe on the Pulse a while ago.
Clearly, the minister either has chosen not to read or is being very, very disingenuous. The statement we have issued is clear and straight to the point. Probably you need to read it to his hearing, if maybe he hasn't read it. We specifically condemned how the dismissal went, even though we acknowledge the fact that the minister has the power to hire and fire. Right. We just felt that we haven't seen any letter. We heard it in the media. They were reported that it was because of the negligence. He is now claiming that it was already in process, administrative issue to reset the hospital. Fine, that is so. But if he reads our statement, you will know that that was not it. Nobody does inquests on camera. It has issues of patients' confidentiality. Patients' details will come out. Probably even some family members don't know. It has risks for public confidence in healthcare. And it also has serious implications. Now that the doctor is being threatened, he is the MP, is he there to protect the doctor? Social media has been sent messages saying that he's killed the patient. People are on his page cyberbullying him. People are sending messages to the wife and his family. And the MP is there saying that it's because they've questioned him. Who says nobody can question the doctor?
You're watching Joy News Prime. We'll take a break here. We'll be back with more. Please stay. Welcome back from the break.
To other stories now, Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa has outlined what he describes as a 5-point plan to transform Ghana's passport application regime. Now, from the 28th of April, which is in a few days away, the Foreign Affairs Minister says Ghana's passport will now be chip embedded, plus many other reforms targeted at checking graft in the process. Let's listen to the Foreign Affairs Minister Okudzeto-Ablakwa addressing the press.
Travel document embodies our commitment to security, innovation, and international standards. The rollout of this new passport on the 28th of April, 2025, and kindly take note of the date. This is the momentous date to take note of. On 28th of April, 2025, we are going live, switching from the current biometric passports to chip-embedded passports. Now, this is not just a routine update. It represents a major leap forward in our efforts to stay ahead of emerging threats and ensure the integrity of Ghana's travel documents. With the incorporation of advanced security features, including nanotechnology and micro-radio frequency identification chips, this passport sets a new benchmark for document security. Fellow Ghanaians, the chip-embedded polycarbonate passport boasts an impressive array of security features.
Well, on Climate Focus today, we explore the critical nexus between climate-induced migration, peace, and security. Our spotlight turns to the northern part of Ghana, where we have the second look on the effects of climate change as it extends beyond environmental concerns to impact livelihoods, employment, and regional stability. This report, produced in collaboration with our partners at the Youth Bridge Foundation, delves deeper into these pressing issues.
People, they are just like us. We do everything together. We have service together. Their children even come join our children in school. They come for health service. Almost every community activity, we do it with them.
The echoes of the conflict resonate beyond the fields and into the hearts of communities. Misunderstandings fuel perceptions, but beneath the surface, there's a shared desire for peace and coexistence.
Since we came to this place, Ghana, we live in peace and harmony with the people. There were many who came here. My father and his brothers, but they are all not here.
We don't sack strangers. We always welcome them. Strangers are very important in our land. We give them a piece of plot to farm. And when you finish farming, you give us some.
Sometimes, when there is a problem or conflict, we go straight to the chief's palace. We and then the conflicted, we go to the chief to resolve it.
In the shadow of mosques and under the vast Ghanaian sky, prayers ascend for peace. Leaders, both spiritual and political, pave the way for dialogue and understanding.
People think that every Fulani person is an alien. That is not the case. We have Fulanis who have lived with us. I have grandparents who are Fulani people of Fulani origin.
We're busy protecting our borders from violent extremists and terrorists. But if we are not careful, our acts of discrimination, our acts of injustice, our acts of corruption, wanton destruction of the environment will generate local terrorists and violent extremists.
Join us in supporting the communities of northern Ghana as they write a new chapter of harmony with the land and each other.
Climate Focus is brought to you by Joy News in partnership with Youth Bridge Foundation, bridging gaps for positive youth development, and the Climate Development Knowledge Network.